Hello, good morning. It's the 9th of January. It's Tuesday. We're in the last 48 hours before the Bitcoin ETF gets announced, and I think we're heading into some pretty nasty volatility. I think this is how they kill leverage traders before the real move happened. This morning, Bitcoin moved more than 3% in 5 minutes ahead of the open. I think that was people anticipating potentially an SEC announcement at the morning open this morning. It hasn't happened, so we're still in that kind of waiting period, but this volatility could apply to a lot of markets. Certainly the move in Bitcoin led to a little bit of a shakeout in quite a lot of altcoins as well. So let's take a look at what is going on. If we look at where we are in the daily here, I thought perhaps we were in a bit of a channel, but we've broken out of it. Instead, Bitcoin is making at the moment three-wave moves. So from the correction that we started at the beginning of December, let's look at it on a 4-hour and I'll show you what I mean. So here we had a big 1, 2, 3. Then we had a 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 down. And I think potentially this could be a little bit of a bigger 1, 2, 3 going on here as well. For example, we had a proper shakeout, didn't we, on Tuesday last week, and that was the big drop where we dropped back down to 41,000, quickly brought up again. But since then, we've also done another big ABC pattern. Now, why does that matter? If you're in a fifth wave, which I think we probably are in Bitcoin, if I measure, for example, from this low to high, very often with these three-wave moves, so they become bigger ones. So this was 1, 2, 3. Let's measure it correctly. 1, 2, 3. And then here we go. Here's our second swing. So this is these two swings are equal. And then what did we see? Really nasty, sharp reversal, new low. Here we are doing the same thing again then. So again, we'll measure from this low. So I'm measuring from this low to this high, projecting it from here. And where did we stop yesterday? At 47,000, the round number, and the equal measured move level from this low. Now, and you're probably going, why aren't I going from this low? And that's because the B leg in the middle is usually three waves, right? Let's look at it here. And so when it goes sideways like this, this is 1, 2, 3. And so this is the first swing and this is the third swing in Bitcoin, and they're equal again. Now for me, when I mark an equal measured move level on a chart, when it does that, the first target is the 61.8 level, which here was 45,600. The second target, bearish target in a corrective move, is the equal measured move level, which is here. And then if we break out above this, obviously I'm looking for 49,400 next, which is just nice and close to that 50,000 level, which is 1.618 of this swing. But when you reverse at this equal measured move level, the level that confirms the reversal and says we're going lower is a back test of this 61.8 level, which is also this previous swing high, 45,600, and that held. And if we look on the 15-minute chart, or even let's go lower time frame, 3-minute chart, this is exactly where the market found support. So if we come back and back test it in this volatility, let's put it this way. We know that underneath this level, we are likely to go back to the bottom of this range. But remember, these moves are to shake people out who are trading on leverage. Don't let that be you. Dump the leverage, wait till this is over, and better opportunities will come. So we can say that pushing above 47,000, really 1.618, 49,500, and then 53,300 for me is the big target that I'm looking for next in Bitcoin on this announcement. Might not come today, it might come tomorrow, it might come tomorrow at the open. Just watch out for that. What does this mean for, if we look at other coins, like everything had a bit of a nasty shakeout on it. But I just think it's going to be bumpy for a few days until we get this out of the way. So, yeah, cut the leverage, wait for the move. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin because My biggest concern is, what are these altcoins going to do? You know, we kind of know what Bitcoin is going to do. It's going to rally, and then at some point there'll be a nasty shakeout and a buying opportunity. But what does this mean for our altcoins? And when can we rotate into ETH? So we're going to start by looking at this weekly chart of ETH Bitcoin. I kind of like this chart. If we go back to the low here that we made in 2019, we made a very nice 5 waves up. Here's our first 5 wave swing, 3 wave pullback, and then a big 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a 5th wave. So our big wave 1 here may be complete, or this wave 3, and potentially we're in a extended wave 4. I don't know. Let's put it this way. The moves higher are 5 waves. The moves lower are 3 waves. That usually for me is pretty bullish. But as you know, if you do a 3 wave correction and you don't make a new high and you come back underneath to new lows, then you're doing a bigger, small 3 wave moves tend to turn into bigger 3 wave moves if you can't break out. That's where we are. For me, it was also really kind of nice in terms of the fibs. So fib retrace levels. So from the big high that we made in way back when in ETH against Bitcoin in 2017 to the low that we made in 2019, the high was at a big 50% level. And I've said before, mean reverting markets tend to keep mean reverting. And that's exactly what we did in ETH Bitcoin going this way, because this first big bounce was 50% retrace of this entire rally. And then it all got a little bit shaken out, but this 50% level is the level that we've broken now. So that pattern kind of, for me, doesn't really apply. But when we have a big move, normally your support comes somewhere in between the 50 or 61.8. And if we measure the equal measured move for the big moves that we've got going on here in ETH Bitcoin, for me, the next likely place we are going to get a bottom is where this swing and this swing are equal. And that is down here at 0.04634. And we have not quite got there yet. We have, with this stuff going on with the Bitcoin ETF, made a new low underneath the low that we made in June 2022. We're underneath that today. And I expect this to continue and lower, and then till we get down to that 0.046. So for me, I don't think that it's a terrible idea. At one of these kind of really big levels, I don't think it's a terrible idea. And it is kind of an interesting support and resistance level as well. If we look left from this spike high in February 2021, that's exactly where we're at. I think if you wanted to sell some Bitcoin and rotate into ETH, I don't think that that's a terrible idea of a level to be doing it at 0.0463. I would be careful until it reverses with leverage. Again, don't do it with leverage, because if it gets bounced around a bit, you won't get shaken out. But that's how I'm thinking about ETH Bitcoin. Now, I tweeted a couple of days ago that I saw quite a few patterns making really interesting bullish ABC patterns. For example, one of them is Solana. This is a daily chart of Solana. So what do I mean by that? It means from the high that we made on the Christmas day, here we've gone a big equal measured move. That low was 87.70, and we've just double bottomed at this 87.70. So at the start of the week, we retested it, 87.73. We can see it on a 4-hour. It held on the retest. This is very nice. They call this an Adam and Eve bottom, where you have a spike bottom and a kind of more rounded retest. This is Adam, this is Eve. And as you know, because this is an equal measured move and we've bounced from the equal measured move level, holding above the 61.8 level on a back test, which is here at 98.89, basically the round number 100, is bullish. We're a little bit sideways at this level. We had that little spike underneath, but I have to say, it's starting to look like 5 waves up, 3 waves back. The problem is, this isn't very much of a pullback. Normally, you'd be back to the bottom of this swing here, and this big 3 wave in this volatility moves could turn into a bigger kind of 3 wave before we continue higher again. But there is no bearish reversal in Solana at the moment, this was so far a pretty bullish correction, and 87.73 held very nicely as support. Let's look at a few more that I'm looking at. Here's INJ, Injective, that have had these really bullish moves. And again, I'm using these measured moves to give me targets. So for example, that first swing from 2020 to 2021 in Injective, I measured, projected from this low, blasted through the equal measured move, blasted the 1.272 level was resistance, then support. And we reversed for the first time at this 1.618 level. I've done the same also with this first swing from here, 3-wave correction. And this is where I'm getting my target levels from, their projections. So for me, if we can hold above 42,700, we might have a wobble at 51, but my next upside target is 65, 67 zone, based on confluence of these projections. And this is another one where from this swing we can see very clearly we had 5 waves up from the low, 3 waves back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. So we basically want to know when this correction is over and when our next swing is going higher. So I'm watching to see if we can hold above. I know it's a little bit wobbly around this level, but are we going to hold above 42,700? Because if we do, those are the upside targets. And if you've been long all the way, again, look, this was a lovely 3-wave correction. This looks like Solana just wound back a bit, doesn't it? Big 3-wave correction. Didn't quite get the deep retest of the lows, but we got a very nice retest of these 4-hour 200 moving average. And so today I'm watching Solana to see, Injective, to see if it holds above 42,700 and it keeps going higher like Bitcoin or not. Just again, be very careful with the volatility going on at the moment. So what would this look like? Here's another one I was looking at a couple of days ago. Peapods die. And this is what I mean about projections and holding above. So I measured the first swing in here, 3-wave back, measured from this low, and you can see that these fib levels kind of, let's put regular candles, did kind of work as either support or resistance when we got to them. This 2.618, we said as long as we hold above it, 4.236 fib on the upside next, and this is the back test I was looking for. And if I look at it on the hourly, we didn't get above it and hold above it, but now we are. So again, as long as we don't, I'm looking for a breakout from this consolidation, 5.2, and we're going to look for 6.6 next. And as long as it keeps making these choppy overlapping sideways 3-wave moves, which it is, it's pretty bullish for me. And I think that this P's die keeps going higher as well. Okay. Just be careful the next few days. Don't get hurt and wiped out on these silly moves. Be careful with leverage. I know I keep saying it.